right, we're back now, and the flash queue's going great, and we still got Tracy. Are you there, Tracy?
I'm here, yeah, I'm here.
Woo-woo! Maybe no more tech issues.
Let me tell you, every time I do a radio show, I'm going to cut off something. Every time. I'm going to have some type of problem with the radio show. It's just me, I'm telling you, it's me.
I don't know if it's you or just my daggum internet at the moment. I don't know what is going on tonight. It's like insanity.
I'm telling you, it's me. I've got some energy, girl.
Well, maybe that's it. It's just absolute insanity tonight. Anyways, they did not get, I'm so sorry, they did not get to hear, I was hearing your story about the little girl, and all that other stuff, and they did not. So, can we, reverse to that real quick?
Go back?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the little girl, she bugged me for a few months, yelling for Tam Tam, yelling for Tammy, and, you know, I would tell her to stop. I mean, I would literally wake up, tell her to leave, and shut my door. And, you know, and she would stop. But she bugged me for months. And because I really didn't know what to do. And on the 4th month, she finally showed me visions of everything that happened to her. I felt it. Because I'm an empath, I'm able to feel what she went through. She showed me street signs. She showed me names. She showed me the area. And everything. So I was married at the time, and I told my husband that I needed a piece of chalk. And he said, what for? Because our floor was concrete at the time, because we hadn't finished it. And so he got me some pipe chalk, and I wrote everything she told me down, and I drew her picture. And I can't draw worth a darn, okay? But I actually saw her face in my concrete, so I drew it out. I told Donnie, I said, I really need you to do something for me. And I said, I know this is going to sound weird because you don't know anything that I'm fixing to tell you, and it's something that I've hid all my life. I said, but I need you to have an open mind. He said, okay, you know, he's kind of freaked out. I said, I need you to look up a missing child. I said, she told me it was Montana. And I thought she said age 9, because 9 and 5 sound the same to me when a little girl is talking. And I said, put in 9-year-old, her name's Tammy, in Montana. Well, we did that, and I had to look at all the pictures. I didn't want to, but I had to, but she wasn't there. And we searched more, you know, places and everything. We couldn't find her. I said, look, I said, put in missing girl named Tammy, and I want you to hit image. And she was the 5th little girl on the page, and I busted out in tears. Where I could not help myself. I mean, I was crying so hard.
Oh.
And he didn't know what to do. He said, what is going on? I said, come here and I'll show you. I walked into the bathroom and I pointed down at the concrete where I drew. I said, that is the stuff I see. That's stuff that comes to me. And he said, what are you talking about? So I told him what I was talking about. So anyway, I did research on the little girl. And because we clicked on her picture, well, her name is not Tammy. Her mother's name is Tammy. And her name is Melissa. And she's 5 years old. And she's not in Montana. She's in another town, sounds close to Montana. I mean, her remains are. And she was taken from Virginia. And this was back in 1989 when this happened. You know, so I was having my daughter at the time that she became missing. But I'm still working on that case. That case is very, very difficult. A lot is in that case right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's something that's going to be, yeah.
That excuse me. Would you consider yourself only a psychic medium, or do you investigate scientifically as well?
I do scientifically as well, because you can even ask David. I really didn't want to come out of the closet, but my grandmother told me, Tracy, there's going to be a time where you will be able to tell people what you do. And when that time comes, you need to take it. and you need to run with it because this is who you are. And when Melissa came to me, I knew that was the day. I knew in my heart that is when that I'm supposed to come out. And 3 months after that, the Beaumont show appeared, and I found out about it. And don't ask me how I found out about it, because I've never researched paranormal or nothing. And somehow I just saw it on Facebook. Somehow it got in my vision. And I clicked it, and I said, I'm going to this. I said, maybe I can get some answers, because I really needed validation. I needed confirmation on things I was getting. And that is where, I met David, and him being a scientist and everything. I mean, he blew my mind.
Yeah.
And we talked for hours and hours Friday and hours Saturday. And, he made me, I bought a book from him, and he told me he signed it and said, get off the couch and do it. And that's what I'm doing. And, when I told him about all the other stuff that was going on with me, such as my fibromyalgia and everything, and I told him that I felt a scientist is going to be able to help me before a doctor will.
Yeah.
Because I think it has to do with the, all the nerve endings and stuff. And I said, I'm sick of doctors. I'm really sick of doctors. And so we kind of just, connected and stayed connected and been together ever since.
Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, it's not your energy tonight, Tracy. That is making the internet mess up. With the bandwidth issues, you can only have one person broadcasting using the internet at once. I found out my son was on the internet streaming a movie. So, that messed it up.
That'll do it. There you go.
Gotta love it. Anyways, the flash queue is now calmed down, and everybody should be able to be seeing us without any skips and lag. Thank God. So it actually probably wasn't you the reason it got cut off to begin with. It was probably me. But moving on with the interview, because stuff happens and you just keep rolling.
That's right.
How would you explain how your psychic gift works? I mean, I'm always kind of interested in to hear people's perspective and how it works.
Well, as far as psychic abilities, it's just it's more of a knowing thing. It's more like intuition, a gut feeling, a premonition. It's just you just see it, and you're able to just relate what you see. I tell people when I'm doing a reading that I'm going to get random things. I'm not going to make no sense. I mean, it's not going to make any sense to me. None. It's up to that person that I'm giving a reading to make sense out of what I'm telling them, okay? So I clearly let them know that the things I get, you're going to have to think about. It's like, it's one reading that I did on the radio, and I usually don't do readings on the radio, but it was for actually the host, and I didn't know who it was for, but a man was bugging me the whole time, and I was shaking. I had 15 minutes left, and he kept saying to me, hurry up, you're not going to be able to tell that person, and I'm thinking, well, what person does it go to? Because there was 5 people on the radio show, because they were doing it at a medium and psychic fair, and I didn't know who it went for. So I typed in the chat room, does anybody know a Calvin or a Kevin? So then the host got it, and finally they asked me, and I said, look, I have a man bugging me. His name is either Kevin or Calvin, and I don't know who the message goes to. And the host came back, and she said, oh, my God. She said, did you say Kevin? I said, yes, I said Kevin. She goes, that might be for me. I said, well, let me tell you what he said. He showed me 6 red roses. He showed me a red tie. He showed me he's wearing a white shirt, and he had on a black suit. And he had on shiny shoes. And the last thing he showed me was a butcher block. And I have not a clue what the butcher block meant. I knew what the other stuff meant. I kind of just it made sense to me. But the butcher block just threw it totally off. So then she starts to cry, and she said, oh, my God. She goes, I have been at this medium and psychic fair, and nobody's been able to give me a reading, and Kevin comes through you. And she said, on his birthday, I gave him a red tie, and we went out to dinner, and he was wearing a red white shirt and a suit. And he's in the service, so that's the reason why I saw the shiny shoe. And the restaurant they went to was Butcher Block. And I started to cry. Like, I was just, like, in tears because it was so sad. And he wanted me to give her a message because I asked her, I said, he's telling me you didn't go to the funeral. And she said, no, I didn't. And he said, you know, he didn't want you to. He wants you to remember him in the suit at the Butcher Block because that was the last time they ever went out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really.
They brought tears to my eyes big time.
Yeah, it's sweet. It touches. I know all the guys watching the show are going to go, "Oh dear God," but it touches the chicks. It touches women parts. You know.
Well, you know, when they come through, and there's nothing I can do about it. I really don't have no control over it because when it happens, I let it happen because it intrigues me.
Yeah, and see, that was going to be my next question. Do you cut it off? Do you open yourself up? I know that some psychics, you know, say they can do that. I've also heard some say that they can't, that it comes and it just comes.
I can't cut it off. It comes and it stays. And I have to either just ignore it and do my work at work or whatever I'm doing. But when I'm out and about, if I start getting messages, I will tell people.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them to a point where they won't even know I'm a psychic.
Yeah.
I kind of just carry a conversation with them, let them start talking about the person that, you know, if it's a grandma, I'll start talking about my grandma, and then they'll start talking about their grandma, you know, and then I'll be able to relay a message.
Yeah.
But if I let them know I'm a psychic, then I'll just let them know straight up without all the little conversation. But I can usually tell if somebody will accept it or not. So that's the reason why I do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you ever had an experience with your psychic abilities that you didn't want anyone to know, that you just kind of wanted to, like, keep it a secret?
There's a lot of things that I know that I don't tell. That's one of the downfalls of being a psychic. When I met David, when I've met any man that I've been married to or fixing to marry, I have told them that I'm different. I'm not like other women. I don't judge because I see things that other people can't see, and I see it a lot. But I've made sense out of it ever since I was little. You know, when you see stuff ever since you're 6 years old, and you hear people talk, you understand why some people do the things they do. And I accept that. And it might not be wrong. I mean, it might be wrong for them to do those things, but people do wrong every day.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. People do wrong, some sort of wrong every day. And, you know, I don't like seeing the bad things. I don't, you know, I read a girl that was, molested by a grandfather. And that's stuff that's very hard for me.
Yeah.
But when it comes through, like when the grandfather comes through and wants to apologize, I have to relay it. I have to. And I usually have to pick something. I have to let them know, the grandfather know that I need something to let her know that it's really you. And usually they'll show me something or tell me something that they relate to. So,
yeah, absolutely. And that'd be really hard to do, you know? So
it's very hard to do.
You mentioned before that you have a guide. How does that work, if you don't mind me asking?
I have several guides. I actually have 6, and I know exactly where they stand with me. I have 2 in the front, 1 on each side, and 2 in the back. I'm very well protected. I've never been scared in my life. I mean, I've always gone places alone or whatever, and I just do things my way, just whatever. I just go with it. I don't think twice, because I know my guides are there to protect me. The female guide is my main guide. She is she's very beautiful. I know who she is, but I don't want to say because it might be in the next book that me and David write.
Okay.
And that story will come out because it's kind of might be a little sequel, another book, the second book of his book that he is fixing to come out.
Okay.
The book about him getting rid of a demon called Careful What You Wish For.
Mm-hmm.
And my male on my right, he's huge, just a huge man. And I have one that don't look like a human. It looks like an animal.
Now, what do you think? I mean, you might not know the answer to this question. What do you think guides are? Are they, human spirits, or like where do you go with that ideology?
I feel that they are spirits, and I don't know if they're human spirits. I think they're just spirits, and some of them are gods and goddesses of other cultures. But I really don't know. But I mean, I don't know the truth. That's just my feeling that they are, other spirits. They're just spirits.
Okay. And
I don't know where they come from, but everybody has a guide. Everybody has a spirit guide.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Does everybody have, guides?
Right. Some people just don't listen to theirs. It's like this. When you're little, you talk to yourself. You play in your room. You're really not talking to yourself. Your spirit guide is telling you what to say. So you're speaking out loud. Your spirit guide can only hear you if you talk to them out loud. You just can't pray silently and your spirit guide hear you. That's not how it works. You have to ask them out loud, to call up on your spirit guides. I need your help. Let them know what you need. And thank them and tell them you appreciate them every day, because they're with you every day.
Yeah, and I think the more that you would acknowledge them with like with any spirit, that the more that you would acknowledge them,
the more you acknowledge them, the more you know they are there. Yes,
yeah,
that is correct.
I would think that would, because it's the same thing with any spirit. I tell people, because I have a paranormal group and we go into people's houses. If you ignore it, sometimes it does just eventually kind of die out and go away.
That's right. Exactly.
So, just my humble opinion. I say this a lot of times on the show. It might not mean nothing, though. Can you share any stories about how your abilities have proven to lead to direct paranormal scientific evidence? Like, I know the experiments that you do with David and things like that. Are you guys doing anything to prove what you do scientifically?
Yeah, we are. We are doing a case in Hackettstown. It's the Tilly Smith case, and she was murdered back in 1896, I think, somewhere around there. I'm sure David typed it in the chat room. But anyway, we are kind of making a little show, a TV series on this, and I'm the one looking for what happened to Tilly, where it happened, who murdered her, and everything. I did actually a remote viewing about a month after I met David, and I didn't know nothing about remote viewing. It was something he totally tricked me into doing. And I knew that I could see things, like houses when they burned. I could see the way they looked when they were not burned, And I never knew what that meant until I met David, because I don't do research on psychic and medium stuff. I just don't. It's what I know, what has came to me all my life, and it's not something that was taught to me or anything. This is stuff that I've known just because I'm me. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, David, the remote viewing, I could see the way the school was before it burned, and I didn't know that it burned. David had told me that it had burned down that night. But anyway, I was telling him where the kitchen was. She was actually pulled from the kitchen, and the man that murdered her was not the man. The man that murdered her got off. Okay, they'd never found him. So another man actually went to jail for this murder, and he was actually, he actually got out of jail and moved back to Hackettstown and lived, there in the community until the day he died in 1950 something. So we're trying to pardon him because he didn't do it. We've
Yeah.
got an author that's actually working on the case also that's writing the book about it. And we've been doing several little TV series to get the story out. But I actually I told David the day on the phone when I did the remote viewing, everything that I saw, everything that I felt her getting raped. I felt everything that happened to her. I told him how he murdered her, what happened, what she was wearing, how she was positioned, and where she was. And the man that did it actually committed suicide a month later.
Wow.
Yeah. So all this stuff that I told him and the historical lady, I can't remember her name, they actually researched everything that I said, because a lot of it was not public knowledge, you know. And so anyway, I was correct on everything. I mean, even down to everything I was correct on. So then, just not too long ago, I went up to Hackettstown, and I was able to actually walk the campus. And oh my God, it was so dramatic. I became another person. I actually felt Tilly was telling me things. Frank was telling me things. Frank is the guy that actually killed her. And then John Titus, the guy who actually went to jail, was there also. So I was feeling and talking to all three of them, and they've got me on camera doing this. And I am just emotional, and I am in tears crying, because I'm feeling what Tilly's doing, and I'm feeling what Frank is telling me, because he's wanting, you know, he's telling me he killed her out of passion, and that, you know, he didn't mean to, but now he don't have to worry that anybody would ever take her.
Oh
And
my goodness.
he didn't realize he was killing her. Yeah, he didn't realize he was killing her. He just wanted to get across to her that he loved her. But she didn't want nothing to do with him, because she wanted to better her life. And because she actually worked at the college. So I asked everybody there, I said, how far do you want me to go with this? Because I could see everything.
Wow.
So as soon as they said, we want to see it all, I said, okay. So I went loose. I let Tilly come in, I let Frank come in, and I let John come in. And on the camera, after I saw it, it is so, I cried. And it's me on the camera. And actually, when I saw it, I cried again. It's so emotional.
Yeah, I bet it would. I mean,
if you watch it, I just kind of sink you into what I'm feeling. It's that powerful. And I lost myself. David actually tried to touch me, and I pulled away. Like, don't touch me. Like I was Tilly. And I don't remember doing that. And then afterwards, I told David, I said, why did you leave me? You left me the whole time. I was there by myself. And after I saw the video, he never left me.
wow.
You know, I totally don't remember any of it. And after I saw the video, I was like, oh my God. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah,
So I can't wait till it comes out.
Yeah, do you think that sometimes, I know that sometimes psychic mediums record themselves because things when they're happening don't make sense, but when they watch it back, it makes more sense. Do you find that works better for you?
I've never done that. That's the first time I ever saw myself in that type of role. Like, but that's the first time I've ever done something like that too. I've never, you know, reading someone, I could not, you know, record myself while I'm doing a reading.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of I have my rules, you know, and privacy is one of the things that is, you know, it's one of my rules. You know, and I just think, you know, recording it, I think is, you know, disrespectful to the client.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, that's about professionalism too, you know.
Right.
I do want to say I've been slacking again on my marketing duties. Jeez, I'm just bad. I'm all over the place tonight. These technical issues took me for a whirlwind. But I want to let everybody know I'm displaying ways to get in contact with Tracy. David's been promoting them nonstop in the chat box as well.
Thank you, baby.
So, but they're there if you want to get in touch with Tracy, or if you have any questions. If you have any questions right now, be sure just to shoot them into the chat box, and I'll ask Miss Tracy Ray. But on with my next question. What is one of your favorite memories of utilizing your abilities?
Favorite memory? Wow. You know, I'd have to say my favorite memory of my abilities would have to be my grandfather coming to me. I did have another incident at my grandfather's house where in the back room I'd see a lady and she had the bluest eyes. I meant blue, but she was so old and I didn't know who she was at all. But I'd go back there and I just thought she was sick laying in bed because she looked a little different than what my papa looked like, you know. And I was sitting there and she would help me read. She would help me read words out of those books that I was sitting there looking at. And one day I told my mom, I said, Mama, who's the lady in the back room? I said, she's here all the time, and I never see anybody talking to her. And she goes, what are you talking about? I said, there's a lady back there in the back room, an old lady, and she's got blue eyes. She said, no, Tracy, there's no lady back there. I said, okay, Mom, whatever. You know, I mean, you're not going to believe anything I say, fine, whatever. Well, then, when I turned 13, I saw a picture of the lady, and she was my great-great-grandmother.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because I cannot, like, my mom and my grandmother will not come to me. And I think it's because they passed away and I knew them. But my ancestors that passed before I was born, they come to me, which kind of pisses me off. Because I really would love to talk to my mom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, my abilities don't work on me. They don't benefit. I can't do anything for me.
Yeah, that kind of makes it a what's the word I'm looking for? Selfless thing to do, you know?
Right. I mean, my psychic abilities kind of work for me, you know, how to read people and stuff like that. I mean, you know, like if something's if I'm in a dangerous area, I know to get out, you know. But,
yeah.
As far as mediumship, it saddens me. I can't connect, you know.
Just letting you know, don't read me today, Tracy, about my personality, because I've had a rough day. I'm kidding.
Oh, tell me about it. I've had a rough day too.
And then I get on here and we're having all these internet issues. I'm telling you, if I could just, I'm going to go ahead and say it, and then Kim can put me in timeout. I'm ready for the Lower Catskills Paracon, just to be able to get away for a little bit, because reality is kind of biting right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to going to that. I'm so excited.
Speaking of that, I'm going to use that kind of as a transition into that. Tracy is going to be at the Lower Catskills Paracon, which is going to be at the Shenley in New York, and I'm going to be there, and David's going to be there, and Mary's going to be there. These are past guests I've had on recently. I'm kind of doing like a road up to the Paracon kind of thing. So I did want to mention Tracy's going to be doing her first ever gallery readings. And are you nervous about that, Tracy?
I am very nervous. What? Yeah, I'm very nervous. You know, I always said I'd never do a gallery. And now I'm doing a gallery. So, I mean, I don't know. It's been 2 years, so I figured, why not? I might as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm up there, you know, and this is why I'm doing it, because I'm up there with David, you know, I'm speaking by myself, and messages are coming through, so I'm thinking, why don't I just do a gallery? You know, because things are coming to me anyway, and then it interrupts what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have stopped, you know, in doing my speech because I'm reading the lady. And what I'm getting is very devastating. So I stopped completely. And thank God David picked up on it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's funny. So I was like, why not? So hopefully I can get some stuff.
Oh, I bet it's gonna be great. I think.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
There's nothing for you to be nervous about. Us around these parts, we all know if we trip and fall square on our face, everybody's still gonna love us anyways. So I do that frequently, you know. Um,
Yeah.
I have internet problems all the time, and Eric and Kim hadn't kicked me off their network yet, so we're good.
Good.
So with your work with David, have you ever been able to correlate a connection between your abilities and direct scientific relation like EMF or frequencies?
Yeah, David has, he has I think it's a oscilloscope that he walks around with, and it measures, waveforms. I don't really know exactly what it does. It does. I'm not a tech person, but anyway, when I'm getting stuff, he gets readings off of me.
Yeah.
We haven't had time to do the EMF quadrilator thing with all the sensors. We haven't been able to do that yet because I'm still in Texas. But we're definitely going to do that and see what happens. But yes, we've done a few things whenever I'm there with him.
Yeah. That's awesome because, it's like I told David when I had him on, the more experiments we do and the more that we can prove that there's correlations and connections to these things, the more valid that we get into being a scientific field and not just, hodgepodge.
Right. I think they are, sometimes I think that it's just the way that my nerves are connected. Like there's, something is just cross-wired or something, and that's how I get information. And sometimes I feel that having fibromyalgia, most psychic and mediums, 80% have fibromyalgia. And, what if, everybody that does have fibromyalgia has some sort of gift, like being a medium, empath, or even a psychic. So we're trying to, figure that out. And we want to find a way to, limit the pain without medication. And we came across a man that was making Mobius sandwich coils made out of copper and aluminum. And we have been experimenting with that on certain trigger points.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what do you see for yourself in the future?
Do what? I didn't hear you.
What do you see for yourself in the future? What would you hope to have accomplished in, say, like the next 5 years?
Well, I would definitely love to open up my metaphysical store. That is, the one thing that I really, really want to do because I'm all into rocks and stones. I think we'll have a TV show pretty soon. And I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
Just want to be happy.
Well,
but as far as my psychic and medium stuff, I really just want to be able to prove that they're real and let people know. When I came out of the closet, I wanted also to find out why things happen to me. Why do I hear things? Why do I see things? And why do I feel things?
Yeah.
That's what I told David. I want to know why. I've always wondered all my life. There's got to be a reason, and there's got to be a way to find out. And I want to find out. And I might not find out, before I'm dead, but I guarantee you my grandkids help when I die. They're going to carry it on because I'm going to make sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with that being said, I just went like brain dead. I'm kidding. So with that being said, do you know, for example, like with David's book and stuff like that, and your psychic mediumships and things like that, where you and David are maybe moving towards in this field together, like to solidify the fibromyalgia connection, or?
I think we're going in a lot of directions right now. We have a lot of things. A lot of things coming our way. Right now we're doing the Tilly case and we're doing the fibromyalgia and we're trying to, find out the measurements on psychic and mediums and then we're working on the TV shows that came our way. So we are in so many places right now, and plus we're doing, conventions too and speaking everywhere. So we're kind of just going everywhere, and I kind of like it like that because I really don't know for sure what it is that's going to make, where we're going to stop. Which point are we going to stop,
Yeah.
So I kind of just enjoy all of it. It's like, come on with it.
Yeah. And, when you were talking about, when you came out and let people know that you were a psychic medium, you want the proof. And, I think that's great. I've praised David's horn before, and I'll toot your horn too, that, I think.
Well, you know what?
It's great.
You know what? And I'll tell you the reason why I said that. Me growing up being a psychic and medium, I could read other psychics that say they were psychic. No, they're not psychic. I knew they weren't psychic. So all my life, I have always wanted to out them. I wanted to let people know that they are fake. I want to be able to, because, I cannot stand a fraud. And if you're going to take somebody's money and you're really not what you say you are, it really angers me. And I think it's just because of me having these abilities and seeing that, because it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm very genuine, and I don't know. Things just upset me sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me to come out, I want to be tested for these things. Test me. I'm telling David, test me, because I want to know.
Yeah, let me be your guinea pig.
That's right. All the ones that are psychic or mediums will say, please test me. But those that are fakes don't want to be tested and say that they'll never prove it, usually.
Yeah. And, with the skeptics, too, it doesn't matter. Even if you have evidence of this in front of them, a lot of times they're still just not going to believe it. It's just one of those things that, you have the passion for, and you're going to do it. And, that's what makes you genuine about it, is that you have the passion for it. And that's why, frauds and stuff like that tick you off, because it's the same with me. There's groups in this field that just absolutely tick me off, and it's because we're passionate about it,
Right. See, I'm very passionate what I do, and I take it very, very serious, and it's not something I joke with. And when I tell somebody that the things that I do, if they make fun of me, I'll shut them up real quick.
Yeah.
Because, it's really me. It's really a part of me. And I can't prove what I get. I can't prove it right now, but I'll be darned, I'm going to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes people like, you and David, and what I like to think, Kim and Eric do in this field, and, those of us that, try to pave the way, we really don't want, what we do to be taken as a joke. One of the things that just cracked my...
things that, it's like all the years, from 6 years old to now, I mean... I never charged for a reading. I just felt like I'm not supposed to. It's my gift for you. I felt like that's what I'm supposed to do. It's in me for a reason.
Yeah.
And, it was very hard for me to start charging. But, when I do so many, it makes my body feel bad. So, like, I will be drained. I will be sick. There's sometimes I can't get out of bed if I do a reading.
Yeah. Well, we did have a question from the chat box about fibromyalgia and what it was. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tracy. Your body, you have a lot of pain in your body, fatigue, headaches. You don't know. There's not a lot about it that's known.
Well, it's actually a chronic pain disease, and it has about 18 trigger points where that pain regulates, and it's never in the same area. You can wake up the next morning and the pain's going to be somewhere else. And I mean, it's pain. I mean, there's days where I could not wear clothes because my skin would hurt, and hugs hurt, like just to be touched hurts. And doctors look at you like you're crazy. But I can't help what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So, but doctors don't know anything about it. They're not doing the research they need to on it. And it's really something that they need to start looking at. I think that they just started doing testing through the brain where they found out that fibromyalgia patients has a different brain scan than normal patients. But I don't know what they're doing about it. You know,
Yeah,
it's a bad disease. It really is. It's very. There's days where I just can't get up.
Yeah, and then there's the connection that you and David, the work that you guys are doing on, and correct me at any time if I get this off key, is that most psychic mediums have fibromyalgia, about 80%, and you guys are trying to prove that fibromyalgia could be an indicator of being a psychic medium. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
And we're not saying that just, it's just psychic and mediums. It could be other people too. But majority, we have a psychic medium support group in Facebook. It's a private group. And we have tons of psychic mediums in there. And all of them have fibromyalgia.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And
there's not really anything, if I remember, there's not really anything doctors can do or there's no medicine, there's just no remedy.
They give you medication, like Lyrica, but it don't work. It works for a while, and then it's like, but then, I took it for a while, and then I felt suicidal. I'm like, oh no, I'm not taking this.
Yeah.
And then they usually give you pain meds or something. It's just a never-ending cycle. Really. Yeah,
absolutely. So with that stuff being said, with anything, hopefully we won't have any more too terribly many questions. I do, we have been doing research on it David wanted to mention they've been doing research on it now for about a year. But I do want to thank you, Tracy, so much for coming on the show. I'm so sorry we had so many technical problems.
No, thank you so much. I had a great time.
I cannot wait to meet you in May, and I know all of us out there are going to just be having a hoo-ha of a time. I know it.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a blast.
Well, because we're all kind of like quirky, crazy in our own little individual ways, and we're all like really fun people, so I'm just looking forward to it. And I love to pick people's minds. Like, I'll walk up and just ask people questions, and they think I'm crazy, but that's just who I am,
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I'm just, I'm not afraid to go up to anybody. I'll do it.
It's a Southern thing. That's all that is.
It is. It is a Southern thing.
We never meet a stranger. If you're truly authentic Southern, you never meet a stranger.
When I moved up to New Jersey for a while, it's hard to meet a stranger up there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Them people are just way different.
Yeah. And what's really funny is not the whole South is like that either. I've noticed like Georgia's like that, and Tennessee's like that, and Texas is like that. But Mississippi and Alabama, they get kind of weird sometimes in there,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right about that. They are a little different in those states.
So it is a Southern thing, but it's not a whole Southern thing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of a weird combination. So, but I do want to thank you again so much for being on. And once you and David, come out with that book and want to start promoting that book, I will absolutely love to have you guys on and just wait, to talk about the book and those experiences and stuff of that nature. I think that's going to be really great.
Oh yeah, that's going to be great.
And I will
I
will promo it really hard for you guys.
Awesome.
I do want to say real quick before we go, next week, it is a pre-recorded show, but we're going to have Jeff Leeper on. He does the Hat Man phenomenon, and I'm going to be talking about all of his lovely work and the things that he does. Jeff is an absolutely sweet, great, and hilarious guy. So tune in tomorrow, next Tuesday, same time, same place, and we will have Jeff Leeper on. Once again, Tracy, thank you so much for being on. You're super sweet. And if you want any way to contact Tracy, all you got to do is scroll through the chat box and check out all David's postings, is where I was going with that. And you'll find a way to contact Tracy. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being on, and I hope everybody has a wonderful, fun-filled week. Thank you, David, for promoting Tracy for me this evening, and you guys have a great week. See you next week, same time, same place. You guys have a great week. Bye.